What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Once Upon a Witch's Death, episodes 9 and 10. So, 5 months after Meg first learns about her curse, the mayor of Lapis asks her to investigate some issue with the town's sacred oak tree, which has like magic contamination. So Annie Nori's there to, happens to be there since Faust is out of town. Nori happens to be there. So basically, Nori and Meg try to figure out what's going on with it. Nori says that similar trees basically have like created a deserts because it like consumes like life in the area, surrounding area. Basically, the only solution that Nori can find is to burn the tree. Then Meg sees the tree's spirit, and it's like a spirit takes form of a human, which is not so many time before. You know, and Chloe senses what's going on because of her half human, half spirit, lineage. And so basically, so Meg then, basically, and so the spirit who Meg named Serena after like a crystal or something, basically, so asked to be shown around town, before like as like one of the last things she does while alive. And so, basically you see a little bit of like, Meg showing Serena around. And then they go by Flair's grave. So Flair was the old lady who had died near the tree, in the early in the show. And basically, Serena considers Flair to be a friend because Flair would often visit the tree. And then, basically, and then, Serena, like, disappears. And so Meg tries to find her, and then something happens where the tree gets really crazy. Meg sees Serena turning, like, this monster thing. The tree goes crazy. Meg tries to save Serena, but her leg gets broken in the process. Inori's, like, the barrier that's separating the tree from everything breaks. So, man, Meg tries to use the fire spell to like burn the tree to spare Serena, basically to put her out of her misery, which Serena asked for. And then when Meg wakes up, it's revealed that instead of burning the tree, it used this like reincarnation spell and turned the tree into a cherry blossom. So it like saved the tree in a sense without and also stopped the magic contamination. Faust tells Meg that she's gonna be very busy because that kind of thing, if it could be reproducible, could basically be a breakthrough in like dealing with helping heal the world's ecosystem. Which leads into the next episode where, for her leg, Inori takes Meg to see Jack Russo, the Sage of Life, who's like the only male like sage so far shown this in the show. And well, basically, like they go to the town of Aquamarine. Meg's excited to go there because basically she's trying to get laid or something. Basically, she's like she she's bi, so she wants to meet both boys and girls. So I mean, that's that's the whole plot point. It's only used for humor, really. She doesn't actually get anything, and so she doesn't meet Jack because Jack's off doing somewhere. So she meets this doctor, like the hospital director, who reveals that Faust took Meg to the hospital as a baby when she was suffering from magical contamination. She was like the only survivor of some disaster that happened. So Meg, not knowing about this story, she didn't know how she became orphaned. So she wants to learn what happened one day, and she meets Mary and Jill, the mother daughter who she saved from Mary's husband, who basically made a deal with the demon. And then both of them work at like the cafe that Mary's parents own, and Mary's father collapses, but quickly and basically Jack happens to appear and basically heals you know Mary's father. Now Meg doesn't know what Jack looks like. When she first sees him, she thinks he's like a mafioso there for like protection money or something. Uh, and so for that Jack's daughter Coco works at the cafe. And so Jack asks Meg to help with his research into dealing with magical contamination to see if what Meg did with the Serena's tree could help in the future. In exchange for helping with her leg, and so Meg agrees. Also thinking that the joyful tears that some people have could help her. You know, and so then Coco tells Meg that her mother died of magical contamination, which is why Jack very much wants to deal with it. And basically, and Jack deduces that when he learns about a curse, he performs some tests. It's real that her magic is very powerful now, like it awakened, like basically, like I guess accumulation of all her efforts. What she did that spell and surround, it's like it was a spark that awakened all her effort, basically made her very powerful. And so basically, whatever magical contamination that Meg dealt with as a baby, it altered her. The reason she's able to see stuff that other people can't with her eyes. Basically, the contamination adjusted her, made her eyes very magical, and possibly is the reason why she has that death curse on her. And so, what they want to do is try to. So, there's this boy that has stage 5 magical contamination, which is like 80% contamination. They can't heal past once they get to stage 5. So, there's a basically Meg thinks they could save the kid. And basically, Jack's idea of seeing if it's possible is basically infecting a mouse, and then have Meg basically try to practice her magic on the mouse on mice to see if they can, you know, basically see if it works on the boy during all those tests. And so there's all these symbols around the aquamarine. I guess help protect his magic bell, protect the city from tsunamis. And Sophie, she peers by. So basically, she goes there when she learns that Meg's there to help take care of her. Then when she learns that Meg's will be there over a week, she calculates how much money she might lose taking care of Meg, which Meg's like, okay, what the frick? Don't do. And was it Meg sitting next to Coco? Basically, Sophie takes pictures, sends it to Fines. The joke is Fine tells Sophie tells Fine that Meg has picked up a woman in Aquamarine. That's the joke. No, that's not what happened. And so so the symbols carved by I guess someone by a witch who guarded Marine named Tethys. It's like probably like thousands of years ago. Basically, all these symbols were carved by Tethys, and Sophie seems to have seen those symbols before. Now, where I don't know. I haven't read the source material. But yeah, that leads into like next episode. So yeah, I enjoyed these 2 episodes. Thought they were funny. Thought they were good. There's some good emotional stuff there. Like, dude, the freaking tree thing was weird. And then all the stuff with Aquamarine, the jokes, that was funny. It was cool hearing the Jack being voiced by Zorro's voice actor. I was like, when I heard the voice, I was like, wait, that's Roanoa Zorro's voice actor. I don't know the guy's name, but that's Zorro's voice actor. Like I was like, yes, let's go. I was like, all right, I might really like this character. So yeah, and it's funny how Jack's examining Meg's leg. Meg's like, "What are you doing?" Which now that's a very reasonable reaction. He just randomly started examining her leg, touching her. You know, when you go to a doctor's office, you may get examined to repair. But if you're out on some random, basically in a cafe, and someone randomly does it, and you don't, and like, no warning, pretty reasonable reaction from Meg, I would say. That is like very reasonable. Especially since also she's a minor. She's only 17, I believe, at this point. So there's other issues there. No, but once she learns that Jack's a doctor, things calm down. And it's like, okay, Jack's, they basically go to Jack's office to get her leg worked on. Yeah. But no, so yeah, I thought these were good episodes. They were funny, some good humor, some good character moments. And yeah, I look forward to next week's episode. Apocalypse Hotel, episodes 8 and 9. So, episode 8 starts like around 20 years after the last episode. So, Ponko's now an adult and is like the acting manager. So, and ship collides with Yachio, causes her to crash on Earth. Now, due to the parts they have, all they can do is give her these not like regular like hands, but like basically literally looks like basically you have like these two like curved bars for each hand, so it's not like a full like opposable thumbs and everything. And her lower half is basically a small tank. So it causes some problems how she can move around, work. And then Yacho sees a lot of the changes, how some of the upgrades in hotel, like with the defense system, with how they've adjusted, where the shampoo can't hurt any extraterrestrials' eyes. Basically, basically a lot of the various stuff, and how they have been able to get a lot of guests. Guests are fine, and the hot spring just finished, and there's this like statue of Yacho that looks like a Buddha statue. So all that like Yacho's happy that the guests are happy, but she doesn't like all the changes, so she like just snaps and like starts destroying stuff outside. And so Ponko builds this like mech suit to like calm her down. And then Yacho, she calms down and resumes her post as the acting manager. And then, in episode 9, so there was this guy who appears in a cameo with Ponko in episode 8, whose name is Pointston. So like basically so Pointston, like his care like so basically it's revealed that it is Ponko's in the point of episode 9, that is Ponko's fiance. And then Ponston, Pointston, however it's pronounced, but like basically, and so they're about to get married. What's funny is Yacho like punches Ponston because she thinks that Ponko's leaving the hotel. Ponko's like, no, no, no. That's not. She's still work. She's like, no, I'm still working there. I'm just getting married. And then once Yacho understands the whole thing, she's like, okay, congratulations on your marriage. And then she helps Ponko get Ponko points to get permission, get the blessing from Ponko's parents, because I guess Poinson didn't ask the father's permission first. Something you're supposed to do. To side note. And after some convincing, blessings given. It's more the mother that had to be convinced. And then, the grandmother, she's been sick. So it was real how they met that Ponston, like, is a doctor and took care of Ponko's grandmother while she's been sick. And so so the grandmother spends a night in the hotel and asks Yasha to get her a camera and stuff and record a message for Ponko, like for a wedding. Then basically the next day, after, the grandmother has done all that, she dies. Like she passes away. So Ponko and Ponstan at first want to postpone the wedding so they could hold the funeral for the grandmother. But then, after, Yacho, reads the letter, sees the message from the grandmother, she tells Ponce that they should like hold the wedding and basically do both the funeral and the wedding at the same time. Which leads Pongo to remember some of words that her grandmother left for her. And, basically in sad times be festive. And so they basically they hold the wedding. And it's done more of the Earth style because they apparently in the Tanuki style on their home planet, their weddings involve exchanging poop. So they tried to do it like an Earth wedding. Now, now the groom like wears a bullish at first, then goes to an actual suit. Yeah, it must be a Tanuki thing, but and that bit was funny. So you have like you have the father who's like the father of the bride, like his like emotions are like so messed up between sad about the grandmother's death and happy about like his daughter getting married. You see the whole yang that it's kind of funny, and you see Yatra who's like whose body's now fully repaired. They finally got the spare parts they need. She does like a magic show trick, where she does like I guess the cutting the whole magic of cutting apart a body. She does it to the grandmother's corpse, and the corpse, so they basically hold the funeral, hold the wedding, and it's actually pretty funny to see both at this a wedding and funeral happen at the same time. It's actually pretty funny. It's kind of morbid, but it's not funny. So yeah, I enjoy these episodes. It is weird seeing Ponko as an adult. I mean, technically, by Earth standards, she already was an adult, but by Tanuki standards, an adult. It is a little weird. Now, the brother still looks like a kid, so I don't know how like the aging system works with Tanukis. But yeah, I like these two episodes. Looking forward to next week's Chainsaw Man, Chapter 204. So in this one, basically we see more of like the fight between Chainsaw Man, fake Chainsaw Man. So like I guess a bunch of the people are cut loose and they're alive. They're butt naked. They're naked, but they're alive. And I guess it worked out relatively well. And I mean, there's still some people who are dead, but it's revealed. Then you have and so then like it's revealed that the guy is it's revealed that basically he's that the fake chainsaw man is the like so he appears after he defeats the fake chainsaw man. After the fake chainsaw man is defeated, he appears and like the fire devil appears and ask Denji who the and ask him who the fake Chainsaw Man is. The head's cut off. Fake Chainsaw Man's dead. Head's cut off. You see his face, and he asks Denji if he knows who he is. So I guess that's a sweet clue for some plot point for next week of who it is. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a fine chapter. We've, finishes up the fake Chainsaw Man stuff and starting off something with the Fire Devil. Of course, there's a Fire Devil. So yeah, I'm like this chapter. Interesting. Hopefully, the Fire Devil's pretty cool. It'd be weird what happens if Chainsaw Man actually eats if Chainsaw Man eats the Fire Devil, like would just fire like disappear? Like that would actually kind of suck. Because like campfires, you need fire to like heat stuff, like to actually survive for some things. But yeah, a fire devil chainsaw man fight that should be cool. That's what we get. So yeah, like this chapter. Looking forward to next week's Lego Masters, the American version, season 5, episodes 2 and 3. So episode 2 involved teams had to make wedding cakes out of Legos. So you had So basically, each team of two had to team up with another team of two to make these like cakes. Obviously, they're not using actual cake; they eating them. Yeah, they have. Lego hasn't come up with the concept of edible Legos yet. Well, I mean, some children eat them. But that's another story. So, and yeah, basically, part of the rules was whoever would make the tallest cake was safe from elimination. And the group that had the tallest cake was and Luke and Maya and Jamie. So that's saved from elimination. And the best cake was John Justin and Nikki and Britton. So that group won. And so the bottom two was you had Alex and Tom, Marcel and Krista, and then the group of Corey and Rebecca and Anthony and Joe. And no one was eliminated, which made sense. I was like, I highly doubted they were going to remove two teams at once. I expect that to happen. And so then episode 3 is called basically they to make these and so episode 3, the golden brick is back. So the way the golden brick worked was for the third episode was basically the teams had to vote amongst the two teams that made it to the top two. Each team had to vote for who got the golden brick. So basically the teams like kind of like chose the winner. And so and basically now what the challenge was, they had to make something that like a character that would fall over this little waterfall in slow mo, and basically had to make something that would look cool as it falls down the waterfall. And basically, so each team, they show how the character looks, how it looks while it's falling. There's always a challenge where something's breaking. That's a trope. Whether it's an explosion, a bat, hammer, dropping, falling, there's always a designed break. Like you always have to design. There's always at least one challenge where something's designed to be destroyed. And so the top two teams were Anthony Joe and Ben Michael. And after the voting, Anthony and Joe they won the challenge and got the golden brick. So, and the bottom two teams were Marcella and Krista and Alex and Tone. Marcella and Krista were eliminated because if their thing broke before it even got over the falls. So yeah, it's good. Cool to see these Lego challenges, how they build everything, the whole process. Yeah, I was interested. The whole building. How they did it, and so yeah, I like these two episodes. Looking forward to next week's Blue Exorcist, chapter 158. So when this chapter, basically you have Ren misunderstands what Shimi was saying by when she confessed her feelings for him. She thought basically she's saying that she liked him as a friend and did not hate him. Everyone else is like, "You freaking retard! Why are you so dense?" So basically, and Shimi, she's stressed about it. She's like, "No, no, that's not what it is," and she like passes out from using too much of her power. So basically, after a little bit, Shimi wakes up, and then basically Ren and Yukio talk a little bit. Yes, they basically have made up, and so Yukio goes away, and Shimi, after some encouragement, you know, goes to talk to Ren, and basically basically they talk things out, and they basically become a couple, and everyone, you have like everyone's watching, and like everyone's watching, and yeah, Mephisto's like, huh. But he makes a joke about how prying into other people's business is one of humanity's I guess most famous habit. Like I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. So yeah, I mean, yeah, this is just meant to just sell all of it, selling it quickly, not taking forever like New Exorcist is doing. And you know, Little Samurai got done pretty quick. News Exorcist is taking a while with that. But no, Blues Exorcist, you know, Blue Exorcist just got done quickly. Didn't drag it on. Just like, all right, let's just get it over with. Let's get all that started, and then move on to fighting. Now, this is a monthly series, so honestly, we'll be waiting a while to get actual combat and stuff. Like, which, it's one of the hard things with manga is that when it's so serialized, when you have when it's monthly, it is harder to remember everything that's happened. I mean, at least it's not doing quarterly like Black Clover is, but yeah. So yeah, I like this chapter. Basically, okay, sweet to the point. Let's go. All right, let's move on to combat. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter when that comes. And that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.